You become what you demand of yourself, not what you casually wish for, not what you daydream about when the world is quiet, not what you post on social media to look successful. Life does not hand over greatness to the lukewarm. It bows to the relentless. It surrenders only to those who refuse to accept anything less than their vision. The truth is simple. Every man and woman walking this earth is carrying within them the seeds of their future. And yet, most people let those seeds rot in the soil of hesitation, procrastination, and fear. They never demand anything more of themselves than comfort, so life gives them exactly that, mediocrity dressed as security. But history has always belonged to those who demanded more. Thomas Edison did not stumble into light by chance. He demanded illumination from the darkness. Thousands of failures be damned. Henry Ford was laughed at when he spoke of automobiles to the common man, but he demanded a world that moved differently. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination, bankrupt and ridiculed, but he demanded a kingdom where dreams came alive. They all had one thing in common. They refused to negotiate with their limitations. They didn't whisper wishes into the void. They declared demands upon themselves, and the universe, it always does, aligned itself with the one who was certain. So let me ask you, what do you demand of yourself? Not what you want, not what do you hope for, but what are you willing to burn your excuses for? Because your life will always expand to the size of your demands. If you demand strength, you will find a way to build it. If you demand discipline, you will carve it out of your habit. If you demand greatness, you will suffer through trials until you embody it. The mind is a workshop of creation, and it does not respond to weak orders. It listens only to commands spoken with faith, clarity, and with urgency. Napoleon Hill called it a definite major purpose, a demand placed so firmly upon your subconscious that every thought, every action, every opportunity bends itself toward fulfillment. But here is where most people fail. They want to change their life without first changing their standard. They still tolerate laziness, distractions, fear. They still allow mediocrity to live rent-free in their mind. Understand this. You will never rise higher than what you are willing to demand of yourself in the quiet hours when no one is watching. Do you demand courage when fear strikes? Do you demand discipline when comfort tempts you? Do you demand progress when setbacks try to break you? These moments, small, unseen, unnoticed, are where destiny is shaped. Because there will always be an easier road, the road of excuses, the road of tomorrow, the road of blaming circumstance, the economy, your past, or your parents. But every second you walk that road, you weaken your own command. You tell your mind, I am not serious, I do not demand, and your results reflect that truth. The champions of life, the ones who turn rags to riches, obscurity, influence, fear to power, they are forged in the fire of demand. They hold themselves accountable to a higher law. They don't wait for the world to believe in them. They decide, they command, they demand. And the moment you do the same, when you stop negotiating with your excuses, when you raise your standard to match the vision burning inside you, that is the moment life begins to shift. The moment opportunity starts appearing. The moment strength flows through your veins in ways you never imagined possible. So listen closely. Success does not come to those who simply work hard. Hard work without demand is wasted effort. Success does not come to those who simply pray. Prayer without demand is wishful thinking. Success does not come to those who simply read and learn. Knowledge without demand is unused. And success, wealth, mastery, freedom, they come to those who rise each day with a declaration in their soul, I will not leave this earth without becoming who I was meant to be. And when you hold that demand, when you live it, when you breathe it, the world has no choice but to respond. Greatness begins in the mind long before it is seen in the world. The external is always the reflection of the internal. Your current life is nothing more than a mirror of the standards you have accepted and the demands you have placed upon yourself up to this very moment. If your life is filled with struggle, confusion, or mediocrity, it is not because the world conspired against you. It is because you have tolerated, you have settled for less than you are capable of. And here's the brutal truth. What you tolerate, you invite to say. Napoleon Hill wrote that a burning desire is the starting point of all achievement. Desire without demand is powerless. Desire says, I would like to have this. Demand says, I will have this or I will die trying. Desire whispers. Demand roars. Consider the difference. A man who desires wealth buys lottery tickets and daydreams about a better future. A man who demands wealth studies, works, builds, fails, rises, and refuses to stop until the fortune is real. One hopes, the other insists. One waits for the right time. The other declares the time is now. Your thoughts are not harmless. They are blueprints. Each day your mind is drafting the architecture of your destiny. And the only question is this. Are you drawing castles of greatness, pages of limitation? Because make no mistake, if you are not commanding your mind is commanding. Clarity is power. When your vision is vague, your actions are scattered. When your vision is sharp, your actions become precise. The most dangerous enemy of greatness is not failure, it's fuzziness. Vague goals produce vague results. A blurred vision produces a blurred life. Look at the titans of history. Carnegie did not kind of want steel. He envisioned an empire of industry. Edison did not sort of want light. He demanded that light must exist. Disney did not kind of want magic. He envisioned a kingdom where imagination had no boundaries. These men did not operate from wishful thinking. They operated from definitive vision powered by relentless demand. Ask yourself now, have you truly defined your vision? Do you know what you demand of your life, or are you drifting? Drifting is the silent killer of dreams. Drifting is what keeps millions chained to lives via desperation. They wait, they work, they sleep, and they repeat. Not because they lack potential, but because they lack direction. The human spirit is not meant to drift. It is meant to conquer. But you You cannot conquer what you cannot see. A warrior needs a target. A builder needs a blueprint. And you, if you are serious about transformation, must create a vision so clear, so vivid, so undeniable that your mind can no longer ignore it. Take this to heart. You will never demand greatness from yourself until you are first clear about what greatness means to you. For some, it may be wealth and freedom. For others, it may be mastery, influence, or legacy. It does not matter what shape your dream takes. What matters is that you are bold enough to define it without apology and ruthless enough to demand it until it becomes real. The world respects clarity. Opportunities rush to meet the man who knows exactly what he wants. The universe bends to the one who demands without hesitation, without contradiction, without confusion. And belief is the soil in which your demands take root. Without belief, your commands fall on barren ground. With belief, they grow into forests of reality. Belief is not pretending. Belief is not hoping. Belief is knowing before the world knows. It is standing at the edge of failure, laughed at by the world, and still saying it will happen. It must happen because I have demanded. When Henry Ford declared he would build a V8 engine, his engineers told him it was impossible. For months, Ford's response was not to retreat. His response was to demand, build it anyway. I want it, I shall have it. That single demand birthed innovation that reshaped the automobile industry. This is the essence of success. When the world says impossible, the man who demands says inevitable. So I ask, what vision will you hold so firmly that no obstacle can shake it? What demand will you make so relentlessly that the world has no choice but to yield? Your future is waiting for your answer. Belief ignites the fire. Vision directs the fire. But discipline is what keeps it burning through the long nights when the world is cold, when progress feels invisible, when failure whispers in your ear. Understand this. No man ever demanded greatness without paying the price of discipline. Discipline is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the dream and its manifestation. It is not punishment. It is liberation. Discipline is choosing who you will become again and again, every day, until reality has no choice but to bend. Think of the soldier. He does not train for battle only when he feels like it. He trains because he must. Think of the artist. He does not wait for inspiration to strike. He paints because the vision demands expression. Think of the entrepreneur. He does not chase comfort. He builds. He learns. He adapts because the mission is bigger than his mood. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not applause or light or recognition. It is waking up earlier than the world. It is doing the work no one else will do. It is saying no to distractions, temptations, and the easy road. It is the repeated, unseen, uncompromising commitment to demand more of yourself than anyone else ever will. This is where most people fall. They demand success in the light of inspiration, but they abandon it in the shadows of difficulty. They say they want wealth, but their habits reveal poverty. They say they want freedom, but their discipline reveals bondage. They say they want greatness, their actions scream mediocrity. Do not be like most people. If you are listening to this, you were not made for averages. You were not born to drift through life as a spectator. You were designed with the same raw material as every titan of history. The only difference is what you demand of it. Let me remind you, Abraham Lincoln lost election after election. He faced bankruptcy, heartbreak, humiliation, yet he demanded resilience, he demanded growth, and because of that, he etched his name into the heart of history. Colonel Sanders was rejected over 1,000 times before anyone believed in his recipe. 1,000 doors closed, 1,000 voices of rejection, but he demanded persistence. He refused to lower his standard, and eventually the world could no longer ignore him. Do you see the pattern? The path to greatness is paved not by wishes, but by unrelenting discipline and refusal to quit. Every man who has ever risen from obscurity to influence has done so because he demanded, I will keep going, no matter the cost. So here is the question only you can answer. When your body is tired, when your mind is heavy, when your spirit is tempted to quit, what will you demand of yourself in that moment? Because it is there, in the crucible of fatigue and frustration, where champions are separated from the rest. Do not confuse ease with progress. Do not confuse comfort with happiness. The happiest man is not the one who avoids the struggle. It is the one who embraces it, knowing that on the other side of discipline is freedom. Each small victory compounds. Each disciplined act rewires your identity. Every time you refuse to quit, you tell your subconscious, I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am the kind of person who demands excellence. I am the kind of person who creates a life I choose. And eventually that identity becomes unshakable. Discipline is no longer a burden. It becomes your nature. You no longer fight to demand greatness. You simply live as the embodiment of it. This is the power of demand. Transforms not only your result, but your very character. You are no longer a person who tries. You are no longer a person who wishes. You are a person who declares, who acts, who becomes. So demand of yourself the discipline to rise when others stay down. Demand of yourself the persistence to move when others quit. Demand of yourself the mastery of habit that shape destiny. Because in the end, your future will not be determined by what you say you want. It will be determined by what you are disciplined enough to demand.